the Islamic Republic state TV was hacked, and messages for supporting Prince Reza Pahlavi was broadcasted inside Iran to millions of people.
Oh, that's
So this is such a big deal because the regime forces are not going to see that everything is breaking apart, and it's going to hopefully cause a lot more defection because the
wait, the
regime.
IRGC are blind right now?
No, they
Bro,
hacked the state TV and broadcasted messages of Prince Reza Pahlavi inside Iran on state TV
all right.
to the Iranian people,
Oh,
and also directed at the Artesh, which is part of the military, telling them that this is it, join the people, support the people. And this is such a big deal because for a lot of people within the regime, they might not think like, is this really over? So some of them are not really sure. But if they see that their messages, the videos that they played, they showed so many of the regime forces running away. They showed people from the regime, from the military forces to defect and joining the people. They were showing that not just Trump is coming and is going to help us on the way, but also the Chancellor of Germany, Merz, came out and said that these are the final days of the Islamic Republic, which is a big deal because usually Europeans are not that radical. So for a lot of people within the regime, I think like, oh my God, even
oh, it's
Europe is
mind
saying that.
blowing.
Like, is this really over? They showed messages of the prince calling upon the armed forces to join the people. It was so effectively, it was genius. Like the messages that they included, and it was perfect for causing maximum damage to the Islamic Republic, and also it addressed the Iranian people as a whole. So a lot of Iranians who might have been skeptical that this is it, now they might be convinced that this is it. Is going to give it like a lot of energy to a lot of people that thought that this might be it and the revolution is over. They might be like, no, it's not. And the fact that they know that the help is on the way is going to encourage a lot of Iranians to continue to fight. It was really, really good. Oh, thank you, Yasin. And also, it also showed like some people from the regime burning, some armed forces burning the picture of Khamenei. It showed that it was
Well,
perfect. It was perfect. Yes, it was every channel. Iranians were like going through the channels, and this channel was hacked. The next channel was hacked. Every channel was hacked. I don't know who has done this. Like, how did they got every single channel? I don't know. Is it Mossad? Is it the USA? That was perfect. I don't know how they managed to do that. It was so good. It was, and the people who were recording it, they were so excited. The guy, one of the people that was like him and his wife or girlfriend, I don't know, they were recording the TV, and when they saw the prince on the TV, they were like, they were shocked. They were so excited. They were laughing. Initially, when they saw like. They saw somebody writing Javid Shah on the wall and were like, this is channel 3. It's showing Javid Shah on channel 3. They couldn't believe it. They were so excited and they were so happy. And the woman was just laughing and so excited. And it's just amazing. It's now going viral on social media. It's exactly the moral boost right now that we needed, because some people were trying to make it seem like it was over, like it was a big show of people, but now the regime is back in power and they took control. This was the morale boost that we needed right when we needed it the most. I don't know, man. This was so good. We were waiting for something like this. It's very important. So here's another part. My assessment is that Trump was supposed to attack earlier, but then because Israel told them that the plan that they had, the strike that they had planned, was not good enough, was not significant enough, they realized that they needed to prepare for something longer, and that's why it's taking longer for the attack to happen. But the problem with the so here's the thing. Here's the benefit of a soon an attack, a strike sooner, was it would have happened at the right time. It would have happened at the time where Iranian people were waiting for some help from somewhere, and the energy was with the Iranian people. But a later attack would be a more significant attack, but it would be happening at a time that some people might have lost hope and may thought that they are back home and maybe think that help is not on the way. So it would have lost the momentum, but it would be a bigger attack, right? So now the good thing about this hack and this message is, so if there's anybody that might have given up because they thought, okay, nobody's coming, so we're effed, we're fucked, basically, we're all alone. Now, because of the delay, At least now the message is like, okay, be patient, help is coming. Just because you didn't see it, it doesn't mean that it's not on the way. So this is why this message to Iranian people, because a lot of people in Iran are not getting messages from social media and other places because internet is still like mostly shut down and landlines but now everybody has seen it. Everybody is now, even people who haven't seen it, they're going to hear about it because they showed on screen, they showed a newspaper with the headline with Trump saying help is on the way. They put that on the screen and they translated it. So Iran, now a lot of Iranians think, okay, the help is then even though it's late, it's coming. So they're just going to be waiting for that help. Yes. Okay. All right. So I saw somebody raise their hand. Who was that?
That was Alexander.
Alexander.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for. I first wanted to say that I've been following you for 2 years, I think, and I really appreciate your channel. I really am a kind of a fan. Yeah.
Oh, thank
So
you. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
you might know me as a Great Red Menace in the chat room. So mm,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So anyway, I would like to say that I've been following, and I think that you are spot on the fact that I think there will be some action by the United States to help the people of Iran. But I do want to ask, wouldn't it be more logical to understand that the revolution in Iran is inevitable? Because if with or without American aid, it will be easier with American aid, but
Yes.
kind of like if you excuse me, kind of like my historical Marxist hat, kind of, and say, oh, there are material conditions
Only if you
that
have to.
Yeah, no,
he's not
it's more of a like that. That's don't bring
not
Marx into
political
it. It's basic.
Marxism.
No, hold.
Yeah,
Let me just give me a second. So just call it material determinism, okay? Because
yeah,
Marx was not the
good
only
thing.
one who was using material determinism.
True,
Yeah,
true.
so it is. I do agree. It is deterministic, and I think our revolution is going to be successful. Everything is deterministic, but I'm not going to get into philosophy
Yeah,
that much. But let
yeah,
me
yeah,
let me
yeah.
get to the let me actually respond to what you're saying. Yes, so
Mhm.
with or without help, Iranian people are going to be successful, and the Islamic Republic is going to fall. But when it comes to getting help from Israel and United States, there's two reasons why we need that. We don't need that for us to be successful with the revolution.
Yeah.
The two reasons why we encourage help from outside is one, because the cost of this revolution is way too high, and
Mm.
we are trying to reduce the number of people who are dying with the if they help if we get help, right? So that's one, right? Two, because we are going to remember the people who have helped us, and this is not just for our benefit, it's also for their benefit, because Iran is going to rise as a strong nation that is going to be beneficial for any country to be an ally of. So anybody who helped us during this time, we're not going to forget that, right? And it's just going to strengthen the bond between the Iranian people and anybody who helped them. So we're asking these nations to come help us, not just for our benefit but also for their benefit, because whatever bond we have with those people is going to strengthen or weaken depending on whether or not we get help or not.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's what I wanted to kind of like. I was thinking like, yeah, international help would reduce the amount of casualties in the process of the revolutionary process. That said, also about that, I kind of am ashamed to say that I'm from Spain, and
Why? Why would you be ashamed?
I'm not serious. Like kind of fascist, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm not ashamed. But my government is kind of shameful.
Yeah,
Uh,
your government. That's not you. Spain is a wonderful
yeah, I
country
know,
with great people.
I
Your,
know.
your
But
government is your
it's
government is
it's
under the
one of the
mistake.
worst governments on that regard. I really don't know. I don't know if anyone has more news about that because it's really weird the level of rejection, even in the media, of even talking about the revolution in Iran. You have more coverage
Really,
of that in the BBC, in France, and in other outlets than in Spain.
really. They
Yes,
covered they covered Gaza in Spain a
oh
lot
my God,
though.
yes, yeah, no, yeah. The government in Spain is insanely pro Hamas at this point. They
Yeah, they
called it.
don't didn't cover Gaza. They were Gaza.
Yeah, they kind of like they were mentally colonized by Palestine, and it's kind of crazy. But the worst thing is that there are several governments in Europe that refuse to even to classify the IRGC as a terrorist
Mm.
organization. Now,
All right.
there are three governments specifically:
So
France.
mention the last point because there were some other people who raised their hands as well. So, yep.
There are three governments in Europe that refuse to declassify the IRGC as a terrorist group: France, Italy, and Spain. Now, Italy is a wishy-washy government that has to be bought. France, well, I don't know. France has their own interests, especially in weapons, I guess. But Spain, like, what deals does Spain have with the Islamic Republic? I don't know, and I really would love somebody, if somebody knows, to uncover
So
it, because I have no idea.
So no, they just leftists. They just believe in the resistance, the Palestinian cause. They're on the wrong side of history. They're ideologically voted in by people who have wrong ideas, and that's what basically is happening. Yes. I don't have the link anymore. I don't know where it is. I would have to go search. I probably would have to search the same things that you would search for to find it. But yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. I am very, very excited about what you said about Germany. That is not expected. I mean, you need to pull on mountains in order to make those sour cabbage eaters do something. It's really true. I've never seen them in the last long time. I've never seen them really strong with harsh language about any kind of country or organizations or whatever. I think it's new. I think that some countries will follow. I think that some countries will object and tie it to the Jews somehow. And but it looks amazing. I did not expect that. Not at all. That's pretty much it. I generally feel optimistic right now.
Nice.
Can you hear me all
Hassan?
right?
Yes.
Welcome, Armin. It's good to see you. And the news you have brought has made me very happy. A few minutes ago, some members in the chat broke me the news that Irfan Sultani, a prominent activist, was executed, murdered in cold blood by the Iranian regime, the brutal Iranian regime. And I was quite devastated to hear that. And the news that you've just brought to this chat has somewhat lessened. I hope that good things come out of this development. The Germany part is also really exciting because the words that were used by the German Chancellor were quite harsh and very straightforward in the sense that they were said with the German bluntness that the regime is done for. And I'm quite glad
So,
that it got to the Iranian people because sitting here in Pakistan, I heard that news about 3 days ago. And I think it's just now getting to people in Iran that the German Chancellor said that. This news is relatively old.
the news is relatively old, but you're right. I think the main target of the message was regime forces who might have not heard that,
Yeah.
and that's which is going to have the highest impact among them.
I'm quite glad that it is now getting through the Iranian broadcast media and everybody's
Yeah.
hearing it, including the Iranian people and the Iranian regime. And also, I wanted to say to Alexander, who was talking a bit before this, he was saying that he is ashamed of his government. Well, I am also ashamed of the place that I come from, that we aren't really able to do anything. The Iranian people are quite inspirational in that regard. They are the ones single-handedly leading this on, and we all share in your guilt, Alexander, from other parts of the world as well. Chill out, seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Today I got a message from Tehran in Telegram. Someone that I was with the group, she managed to have internet for a few minutes.
Mhm.
I sent you privately in school like the whole message, but one thing specifically that she said that there are people right now that got injured and are afraid to go to hospitals. and they don't know how to treat their wounds. So she asked me if it's possible to get to Iran International or Manuto TV or something, or some other channels that,
Can I read the message that you sent me? Is that okay?
yeah, you can read the message.
Okay, I was in it. So this is okay. So her testimony. So you're saying into somebody sent you this message.
Yes, they sent us a couple of messages. Their testimonial, like all of them
Okay,
together
so
with some of the questions that we asked.
Okay, so this you're saying, are you okay? She said no, never ever. And then she said, I was in a sea of blood. I wish I had died like my friends. I wish the world could see how the bodies of our comrades were arranged around the square of for hours just for us to look at them. I swear more than 200,000 people were killed. By the way, guys, we don't know these numbers. This is based on the assessment of people in the revolution inside Iran. So we have to wait for confirmation for these numbers. And then she continued by saying, the world left us. We were targeted by dushka and grenades. And then the person talking to her said, are you injured? She responded, my friend, censored here, was killed by a sniper. Only 3 of my friends survived. Yeah, but I wish I died. And the regime has asked my friends' families to pay $30,000 to return their bodies. So we made a symbolic grave for them. Also, they couldn't get the bodies, so they just made a symbolic grave. They are buried in mass graves. Also, people who can't afford to get the bodies back, their bodies, they will just dump the bodies in mass graves. The government does that. And then she says, the world has betrayed us. Internet connection is very weak. Everything may be cut off again, but know that there is a sea of blood between us and the regime. Whoever you talk to in Iran knows someone who has been killed because they check phones on all the streets to make sure there are no videos or footage of protests and the regime's crimes. I have nothing on my phone more than 500. Oh, because so she's saying because they always check everyone's phones to make sure that there's regime crimes are not on them, she doesn't have anything on her phone. Then she continues, more than 500,000 people have been arrested and even more have been blinded. I was shot in the side of my head and cannot go to the hospital because I will be arrested. So I stayed at home. My friend, censored name here censored, was shot in the shoulder by Kalashnikov bullet and died at home due to bleeding. If the internet is cut off again, please ask Iran International to teach how to dress wounds and remove bullets, how to control infection. This will prevent more deaths. Okay. Okay. I will say that on the show. I don't know how to reach Iran International, but I say it for everybody. Okay.
I think that you can reach Manuto TV. Maybe they can also.
Maybe Goldie has a connection.
Are you Iranian?
No, I'm not Iranian. I'm Israeli. There is a group chat of a couple of Israelis from all around the world and one Iranian girl.
Wait, so this is your friend?
Yeah, like an hour only from Telegram, not more than that personally, but we talked about it.
Okay, thank you for sending that to me. Thank you. Can
Wow.
you email me a screenshot of this?
Yeah.
Okay, you have my email, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So brave, these people. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. Daniel?
Yeah, just really happy about the news, and I believe it may be we witnessed the first action of Iranian Mossad. Is that it could be that a possibility? All the breaking into the regime's
So
television.
you're saying the hacking of state TV that just happened by the Islamic Republic state TV that happened, you're saying that could be the action that could be done, that could have been done by Mossad? Is that what you're saying?
No, but the so-called new Mossad, like the Iranian intelligence.
The Iranian members of Mossad inside Iran.
No, just new guys who we don't know the name,
The Neo
and
Savak, the new Savak that will be
Oh,
after the liberation.
Garde Javidan. You're referring to Garde Javidan.
maybe I just
Okay.
weakened the terminology.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know who did this. It was very sophisticated, so
Yeah, I
it
believe
seemed like
so.
because it was all the channels, so it could be the U.S. or Israel or both.
Or might be a shared effort also. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really was happy to hear that.
Yeah. It came just
Yeah.
in time. Alon?
I do hope that it was Israel and United States because they were broadcasting Prince Reza Pahlavi's message. If it was Israel and America, that means that they are basically completely on Prince Reza Pahlavi's side.
Alon?
Yes, thank you. I haven't been kept up to speed in the past few hours, but a question has been nagging at me for the past 2 days. After listening to some things here and there, I heard it was Eliyahu Yossian who said that without any sort of troops on the ground, the revolution has trouble in succeeding. So I was curious to ask if maybe the point of the American airstrikes is to paralyze the regime and sort of shock it so that there will be enough defections to the side of the crown prince so that essentially that'll be like the army on the ground that could launch a coup and topple the regime and allow the crown prince to return.
Yeah, that has been always the plan of the crown prince. This has been the plan since like many years ago, right? So Prince Reza Pahlavi understands that we need military support. This is what he has been preparing for all these years. This is why he created a platform where people from the military could defect anonymously and join his team. He started this a long time before any of this happened. And even in a couple of weeks, thousands of people already before this revolution started, within a couple of weeks of starting it, thousands of people joined him way before any of this even started. So, yeah, that's always the goal, a combination of external pressure, the Iranian people overwhelming the state, and eventually what we call Saat Sefr Enqilab, the 0 hour of the revolution, is when a significant part of the armed forces decides that enough is enough and they're going to join the people and recognize the leader of the revolution, and that will be Prince Reza Pahlavi. That's when you know the revolution has been successful.
Right. And with all due respect to Eliyahu Yossian, and I do respect him, by the way.
He has some
Favorite-
issues. I'm aware of that.
He's one of my favorite internet people, don't get me wrong. But I think that just keep in mind that Yossian was in the Israeli intelligence, not in the American. I don't
Yeah.
think that he can make correct assessments about what the joint power of the US and Israel, how would it look like and what they can achieve and what they can do. I don't think that when
Yeah.
he served, he was ever exposed to this kind of cooperation of brute force. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So
So I was one of the reasons why I asked is because I heard what he said and I was like kind of skeptical because on the one hand there's a point to what he says, but on the other hand, as you said.
All right, let's go through other people because I think I need to
Yeah,
leave
I'm
soon
done.
because Goldie. Yeah,
Harry,
thank you. But that was a good. But I'm glad. I'm glad you asked that question because I'm glad that was recorded because I wonder that was a very important question to ask. So thank you for that. All right. So who's it?
Harris?
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Armin, hey man, we've met in person once during Ali Rizvi's when he was promoting his atheist Muslim book. What I don't know if you remember, but I appreciate what you're doing. My question was more in regards to the military strikes. I still haven't figured out like what exactly, like what military strikes are we looking at to push the Iranians across the finish lines? What are those targets? Like, are we looking at Ayatollah's bunker? Like, are we looking at a bunch of military bases? Like, what are those targets specifically? Because that's the one question that keeps I don't have the answer to.
So right now we're expecting any day now for the United States and Israel to strike the Islamic Republic to help the revolution. Your question is like what kind of
What are
a
the
strikes would be
targets
the most.
exactly?
What
Yeah,
are
what
the
are the
targets to
targets?
help the Iranian people succeed in the revolution against the Islamic Republic? Okay, so I think uh, some targets need to be to remove the Islamic Republic's deterrent capability, because that's the main thing that will, so against Israel, right? So you have to obviously target the launchers that they have and any other missiles that they're building or they manage to recover from the 12-day war, because Islamic Republic is trying to avoid an attack happening on it by telling United States that I will basically attack all your allies in the region all at the same time if you do a strike. So the first thing I think they might be doing is to basically defang the Islamic Republic by making sure that any attack it could do on Israel or anyone else is limited, right? Second one, I think just like the 12-day war, it would be make sense to take out the key commanders that will be giving the orders to do the attacks. That will make it very difficult for them to organize and respond effectively. And then also anybody who's in charge, who have the Mossad has identified as the leaders of the people in charge of. Please close your mic, guys. If you please close your mic. Anybody who is in charge of the anti-riot police or the suppressing forces of the revolution, if you could identify those leaders, you should take those out. So Basiji forces, basically Basiji centers, IRGC command centers, any form of any place that is the center for to communication between regime forces, those should be main targets. Political leaders, assassinating political leaders, that will completely, if you could get like the head of the leaders of the three branches of the government. For example, if you could take Pezeshkian out, Ej out, and Ghalibaf out. These are the leaders of the Pezeshkian is basically the executive branch. Ej is the judiciary branch, and Ghalibaf is the legislative branch. If you could take those out, that would be a good signal that this is the end of the regime. If you could take Radan out, that Radan is the main leader of the people who are in charge of attacking the people within the protest. So taking that out would be very symbolic and shows to other leaders that time is up. Targeting Khamenei himself would be a major event that would signal to everybody that the game is over. Khamenei surprisingly has left his bunker a couple of times to come out and give out speeches. That would be a very good target to energize the revolution and also cause a lot of defections. It would be very unfortunate if they kill him, because we really want to get our hands on him and see him answerable to Iranian people. And then we also do want him to watch the Iran prosper after the revolution. So that would be a very nice thing to see. We do want to see justice to Khamenei by the hands of the Iranian people rather than him just dying by missile. But we also understand that if killing him really helps the revolution, then yeah, it's okay. Just take him out. So I don't know now if he's back in his bunker. I don't know how deep his bunker is, but most of the targets are surface level and they don't go that deep into the ground. So you don't need bunker busters for most of the things that need to be taken out. And also the attack is what I think is the attack is very easy. Protecting Israel and United States bases and United States allies in the region. So taking out the people that need to be taken out seems to be a very easy thing for Israel and United States to carry out. The complicated part is how to deal with the response from the Islamic Republic, especially given that if this is close to game over, then they will not hold back and they will throw everything they have. They, like even in the 12-day war, they didn't go all out because they needed to keep some bullets in the chamber to be able to like keep fighting if they needed to. But now if they think that this is it, then they will throw everything they have out. So this is why this is getting complicated and it needs more preparation, because you need to be prepared for everything that they might be able to do.
Thank you, Armin. That was a great answer. See, these are things that I, as an outsider, has no idea. Because when people say that the United States is about to attack, it's like, okay, what exactly are they hitting? But your answer was amazing. Thank you for that.
Well, thanks, but we'll see.
Sure.
I see Adam would like to raise his hand, but he can't figure out how. So please add him to
All
the
right,
list.
for people who are new here, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a reaction button at the bottom, and the reaction button looks like a smiley face with a plus sign above his head. If you click on that, there's a raise hand option right there. If you click on it, then you will be added to the list by Yassi.
All right. So you need to leave soon, right? So I'll let the The people who didn't
Actually,
spoke,
I have
already
more
spoke.
time now because I'm seeing Goldie is playing the ending music, so she's gonna start the new stream. So that means that I have a little bit more time.
All right. So Jeffrey.
Oh, I was just going to bring this up to Armin when you guys were playing the video of the propaganda pushed by the representative of the Mullah regime with regards to Goli and Cenk. Morandi, what jumped out at me is he was trying to undermine international will in support of bravery and protesters by drawing upon the false moral equivalency between the former Shah and the red black terrorists that took down the Shah and originates in Soviet anti Shah propaganda. Oh, they're going to pull your fingers out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's like referencing propaganda regarding Savak, right?
Oh
It's
my
just
god, I should have said that during the show. You're so on point. Yes, good job.
well,
Yeah, okay, okay.
so the reason why I reference that is that one of the reports I sent to you outlines in pre-bunking some of the lines of disinformation that pro-mullahs are going to try and use to undermine support, right? Moral flattening. Well, but like Savak was the same thing as like the mullah regime. Yeah, they're nothing alike. They are nothing alike. Savak was a counterintelligence agency created by the Shah in response to Soviet and Islamic threats that was very much beholden to a civil secular government. It did not run the police, it did not run the military, it did not run politics. Conversely, the thugs that masquerade as the IRGC's intelligence were created for nothing other than repression. So, one, Savak was a shield designed to protect Iran from Soviet and Islamic aggression, which was sometimes heavy handed or misused. The difference between that and the Mullah regime's thugs is the Mullah regime's thugs that masquerade as intelligence was meant as a sword for repression right out the gate.
No,
You
not
need to
yet.
click on the mic. You're muted. It's okay. All right, he's saying move on. Okay, okay. Figure
All
that
right.
out later.
Why don't you type and I'll just read it out loud or something?
No,
If
it's
it's not
okay.
very
It's
long.
okay. We could like
Okay.
he could spend time figuring that
All
out.
right.
I
All right.
figured
All
it
right.
out. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Michael.
Yeah, I read this in the paper today, and this is real. I've been waiting for this for a long, long time. The United States tested successfully. They ran through it early January. This is AI control driven drone swarms. In other words, they can take out 100, 200 drones, set it in its place off of an airplane, and AI coordinates all of it in one attack. It's almost like boots on the ground without boots on the ground. It's kind of boots in the air, and it will fuck you up. And I'm telling you that I can't wait to see that happen. Is it early to drop in a situation like this? Maybe, but I wouldn't put it past them because they know that it works. And if you want to take out somebody or a group of people, you could take them out very easily doing that kind of thing and just let AI do it, set off on its own, and just walk away. It'll be cool as hell. I hope it happens.
Good place to test it. Good opportunity. If you don't try it now, I don't know if you're going to get a chance to test it because no amount of testing and simulations is ever going to give you the same data than a real war. So,
I
given
mean,
how
don't.
important AI is, given how important AI is for the future of warfare, and I don't know when the United States is going to get another chance to test these things in a real war, this would be a good opportunity to try them out and
And
see how they're
no loss
working.
to
Because
human life either. No loss to human life either. It's perfect. Why not do it?
yeah, yeah, we'll see. Trump did say that we have things that they can't even imagine, so we'll see.
Don't oversell yourself. Like
So you don't get disappointed. Yeah, you're right.
Mario.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I mean, trying to speak before, on this forum, but my microphone wasn't working with my phone, so I got lost. Now I did it on the computer, and I figured it out how to work this out. I'm
Great to
extremely
have you.
old school, and I apologize for it.
That's
I don't want
okay.
to get off topic, but all I want to say is just I want to kind of relate to the situation with Reza Pahlavi and the return of the king and all of that because My grandfather was the last baron of Italy. He's from the house of Anselon. He was the very last baron. When he died, everything died. After World War II, when they did the referendum in Italy and the communists committed fraud on that referendum, then Italy became a republic. My grandfather had to escape Italy because they were going to kill him, including my mom. My mom was like 10 years old. My mom is 90 years old today. So it was painful for him because he'll never return to Italy. And when he died, he passed away with the flag with the Savoia insignia on it, which is the flag of the king, which is the one that we have here with the lion and the sword for you guys. For us was with the shield of the king, the Savoia king. So my grandfather died with his flag on his hand. So I know your feelings, I know the sentiment, and I'm with you guys, and I'm actually every day watching your videos and participating because I want you guys to be free. I hate communists. Nobody hates communism more than I do. And I'm the most MAGA of all MAGAs on the planet. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm very hyped up. I'm very emotional today with you guys. And if this helps for something, I'm glad I'm here to help. Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Nice to have you. And also, Samantha, we love you. Okay, don't feel attacked. Okay, when
Thank
people
you.
say that. Okay.
Adam?
And thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for your support.
Adam, did you manage to figure it out? No? Okay. Hassan?
Adam, it's the red button. It's red right now. You press it, it's black. Do that.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's
Let's
all right. No
move on.
pressure there. No pressure there. Hassan?
Guys, don't communicate with facial features because it's going to be weird when we put it on our videos on YouTube. If you need to communicate, use the chat use the chat function. Thank you.
Hassan Zahir. It's here.
Hello, guys. I was wondering, Armin, there are daughters and sons of IRGC members who study in countries like Canada and the United States. And I'm pretty sure that not all of them are US citizens. Some of them may be green card holders or have non-permanent settlement status. I was hoping that especially the United States would lead the way in revoking, for example, holding them in some kind of a hostage situation where they blackmail the IRGC members into coming to their senses. I think the United States, it only has to be done by one country and the rest of the countries will follow suit.
That escalated quick. I was nodding my head, and then all of a sudden, oh my god! So
I don't mean it in a
you-
violent way. I just mean that something to make them think that okay, their lives will get a whole lot
but I don't
tougher
think
here
that you could
if you
do that in
don't.
America. So basically, okay, so I'm in favor of kicking them out and removing their permanent residentship
Yeah.
status. Like I thought that was the direction you're going with it. But I don't think like
I
in the
mean,
United States,
just threatening to
hold on.
deport them to, for
I don't
example,
think
El Salvador.
I don't think that under U.S. law you could go and like capture the daughter of
ICE.
even if yeah, you could kick them out, but you can't hold them. You can't hold them hostage. Just like, oh, do this.
No,
Or,
no. By holding them hostage, for example, just sending them to that prison in El Salvador, just the threat of it. I think just the threat of
yeah,
it will be.
yeah, getting rid of them. I agree with right. Getting rid of them, kicking them
We
out of
can
a
take them.
country. Yeah, send them to Israel.
Yeah, I was saying because the IRGC is getting quite dirty with the way they are doing things.
It's not called taking hostage. Sending them to El Salvador.
I got carried away. That was not the appropriate choice of words.
I do
Just
agree.
using
I
them
do
as
agree. I do agree. Extreme measures against
yeah.
IRGC family members with green cards in the United States.
Because
I do
it is
agree.
reported that they live pretty lavish and free lives
They
in
do.
free
They do.
countries,
On
and
with
not only
the
should they
money,
be exposed.
the money that
Yeah.
they're living lavish lives in Canada and the US and Europe on with money gained from spilling the blood of Iranian people and using and selling the resources of Iran. That's what they're
Yeah,
living on.
have their deportations broadcasted to Iranian people
No,
on
you
the
know what?
media, like
Actually,
an
don't send
internet.
them to El Salvador. Don't send them to El Salvador. Send them to Iran. we want them there.
I would
We will
love that.
show.
That's an
We
excellent
will.
idea. Yeah.
We will. Yes,
Yeah.
just send them back to us. Send them back to us. We will punish them in Iran. Because, by the way, Hassan, you have a lot of good information about these things. It's very, that's very, that's really good. Like, you have a lot of detailed information that other people, usually non-Iranians, don't have. But we Iranians have been
Thank
following
you.
these people for years, right? Like, we watch their parties, like we watch them like having and by the way, they don't wear the hijab. They wear like
Yeah,
really, like
exactly.
they show off a lot of skin, and like these are
Yes.
the sons and daughters of regime officials, where
Cult
in
members.
Iran
Yeah.
they're doing the most religious, no, in Iran they're advocating for the most religious coverings and the most religious lifestyle, while their own wives and daughters and sons in Canada and in the US, they're doing the most un-Islamic shit, and they're recording it and putting it like drugs, alcohol, parties, and they're recording it and putting it on Instagram with no shame. And it seems like they're taunting like the Iranian people on purpose. Like, look at us, like, haha, like we look at our lives, like you're rotting in Iran while we're living lavish lives in Canada and United States. So a lot of Iranian people really would like to get their hands on them. So yeah, El Salvador. I mean, I think El Salvador would be heaven compared to what we will do to them if you send them to Iran. Just send them to Iran. I don't know. Yeah.
I said El Salvador only because I think still the regime in Iran has the control of the airports. I would
But
love it.
not for long, apparently, if our revolution is successful. So that's why I'm saying send them to Iran.
Absolutely. I just wanted them to just start. I think they're sitting ducks and they are legitimate targets. The IRGC, children, they're legitimate targets if they do not hold a permanent status in these countries. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, by targets, by the way, let's make it clear for legal reasons, we're not talking about like targeting them violently, but bringing them to justice.
Absolutely
Okay?
not.
Just one.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
Come on.
Hello. I'm sorry to intervene again, but I heard something that I couldn't go past because I don't know. Just to be clear, I'm not a right winger or a left winger. But I do care a lot about historical accuracy and honesty. Just to be clear, the Italian monarchy was ousted in a free referendum led by the United States. It wasn't kind of a fraud. It was because the monarchy supported fascism, and eventually it collapsed. And I think that today Italy is a free country. It didn't fall to the communists because eventually the first prime minister of Italy was in fact a conservative.
You
So
talking shit out of your ass.
Wait,
And you know,
Mario,
no, no,
hey,
no, 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 no,
hey,
no, no.
hey, hey,
No,
hey,
this is
hey,
bullshit.
Mario, you show
Mario.
respect. You show respect. You can
My
you can
grandfather
disagree.
died, okay?
Okay,
yeah,
but you don't talk like this to our members here, even if
I
you're
apologize.
okay.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
please
stop
stop.
there because I don't want to cause debate.
No,
All right,
Alexander, you're
let's.
fine. Even I don't care if you're right or wrong. That's your opinion, and you can share it. And that this is not how you should be responded to, even if you're wrong. I
Telegrams
don't
from the
care
king.
if you want to give facts, Mario. If you want to give facts, Mario, give it respectfully. You understand?
Let's.
I just want to say that one of the things I like about Reza Pahlavi is that he said in different interviews that he doesn't, it's not like saying, let's have a monarchy or a republic or whatever. He is a leader for a transition, and eventually the Iranians are going to vote freely what they want. And that's the important thing that he's saying. That's what Italians did at the end of World War II, and that's what should be done in Iran. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Maria, can you respond? Yeah.
You can respond, but
Well,
let's not
Which
have
is
this about
emotional.
Italy.
I apologize. I'm emotional because
That's okay.
this relates directly to me, to my family that was going to be hanged in Rome. Okay, so and my grandfather died and he couldn't go back to Italy. I have telegrams from the King Umberto itself. I have telegrams from him directly to my grandfather when he was in exile in Cascais in Portugal. And everything that I'm saying is verifiable. Now, the monarchy did not support fascism. That is not true. And I tell you firsthand. Number one, let me tell you what happened. The mother of the king who was alive at that time, Umberto, okay, King Umberto, he was seen in Italy as a very weak king at that time. simply because he was 5'4". And at that time, people thought, that just because you're short, then you cannot impose order, and people will not respect you. So the communists were spreading all over Europe at that time. People were very illiterate in Italy, and they were very poor in especially on the countryside of Italy. So they were easy to be brainwashed. So I'm not going to say Mussolini was a good guy or a bad guy. It's indifferent to me. But what I could say is that Mussolini had support, okay, from wealthy Jewish people, and all the people in the Vatican too supported him, as well the mother of King Umberto supported him. And the reason was because Italy was going to be lost to communists, to the partisans, that they were growing and spreading all over the place. So he was an alternative to that, which worked. Okay, and because of that, communism couldn't do much during 25 something years that lasted. Mussolini, he was elected by the people. He became a dictator, could be, but he was elected by the people. People voted for him. In fact, in the early 80s, there was a guy who is a communist, okay? He's still a communist today. He's famous in Italy for doing documentaries and research and investigation. I may have to Google his name because I don't remember his name on top of my head. But he did, in the 80s, he did an investigation about the whole history. And he interviewed a lot of people. At the end of his research and in documentary, this guy who is a communist still today, he accepted publicly that Mussolini actually, he was elected 5 times and there was no fraud when he was elected. So when a person gets elected to be in power versus imposing the power, that's the difference between.
Okay, the point is clear,
All right,
Mario.
guys. So I think like going to these historical, I think this is not a good use of our time right now.
We can do it.
given
We
the
can do
time.
it. We can do it later after you go to Goldie. We
Yeah.
can do it. No problem. So we had Mario and Jeffrey raise his hand, right? And Jeffrey, please.
I can actually tie that into what's his name tried to do today on the video. Right? I understand why.
Well, let's not go to Spain though.
We're not going to go to Spain. I'm just saying, like, one of the lines, one of the kind of common thematic elements pushed by any elements of the autocratic bloc or adversaries, whether they're radical leftists or Islamic fundamentalists, is to reverse the causal effect relationship, right? So he was trying to say on the video, well, she's going to pull out your fingernails. So he's trying to say, like, she's like Savak. And that's the reason, like, retroactively apply that to, like, somehow legitimize what? The Mullah regime brutalizing hundreds of thousands of Iranians? What are you saying? This is the same thing that the leftists tried during the Soviet era of the Cold War. The reason why you had to have things like radical left-wing terrorism in Iran during the Shah was it was a co-radicalized response to the Shah's activity or fascism. What I'm saying is fascism arose in response to Soviet-backed insurgency. In Spain, you had the Red Terror. In Germany, you had over a decade-long campaign of political warfare insurgency under the United Red Front that then got rebranded after Bloody May in 1929 to Anti-Fascisti Action that engaged in terrorism against the Weimar Republic, right? Even in Italy, you had like a decade-long campaign of Soviet-backed, Soviet-sponsored terrorism. So, I mean, not to like refocus it on that, I'm saying to pull it back to the current effort at hand, which is to support the brave Iranian protesters. And part and parcel of that is to pre-bunk all this disinformation being pushed by either the Mullah regime or their apologists. One of the common approaches that they try is to reverse the causal effect relationship to justify their brutality.
Right. Who else raised his hand after Jeffrey? I lost it. I saw it
That
for a
was
second.
very insightful, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. Is there? I might be leaving soon because I see Goldie is on.
Ah,
Is there
Richard. Yeah.
anybody? Oh,
Richard.
Richard. Yeah. Okay. And then is anybody else that hasn't spoken? Okay, the Joe.
Dajjal.
So Richard. Okay, Richard.
Hi, Armin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So I had a question for you. I wanted to relate back something to they said earlier in the revolution, where you said that we were actually hoping that Khomeini wouldn't be taken out too early because it would give the fake reformers, basically the Pezeshkian types, a window to sort of swoop in and convince people they were the better alternative. You thought that if the hardliners stayed in power, maintained what they were currently doing just a little bit longer, that we'd be out of that danger zone. Given that Pezeshkian is under house arrest, and I'm assuming that was done basically to make him as a more presentable alternative to Khomeini after he's likely killed in the next round of strikes.
Was Pezeshkian under house arrest or Zarif and Rouhani?
The fake.
Yeah, it wasn't Pezeshkian. It was Zarif and Rouhani. They wouldn't put the president on house arrest.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, basically the fake
Yeah.
reform, the controlled opposition, the people that they use to create the illusion that there's opposition internally to the Islamic Republic.
Right.
Are we past that critical point yet, or do you think we still have a ways to go?
No, I think that was for before when the rebranding of the Islamic Republic under the leadership of either Rouhani, Zarif, Tajzadeh, Nargis Mohammadi, Taroneh Ali Dusti, or whoever they want to pull out of a hat to sell to us as a leader. I think that those days are over. I think that based on the amount of blood that has been shed, the Islamic Republic has lost so much, like the amount of hate, the amount of desire for revenge by the Iranian people is so high that the chances of any form of rebranding of the Islamic Republic is completely gone. Especially given that while this revolution was happening and the massacre that was going on in the streets of Iran, the reformers actually came out and defended it. One after the other, the reformers came out and they defended the regime forces killing the Iranian people or justified it, or they came up with the regime narrative. They all got it. I mean, I didn't see what Rouhani and Zarif were saying. Maybe that's why they were arrested. But all the other ones were basically justifying it. So the reform brand is dead. Even the leftist figures like Nargis Mohammadi and Taroneh Ali Dusti, given that they weren't with Pahlavi, that is dead. So it's basically Pahlavi or the regime. There's nothing in between. There's no other option. This is why we keep saying there's a sea of blood between us and you. There's an ocean of blood between us and them, meaning there's no middle ground. I think if there was any chance of what we call Pustandazi or rebranding of the regime, it died with all of the people that the regime killed in the streets of Iran. When it comes to Zarif and Rouhani being arrested, there's three options here, right? There's three options for what's happening. Either it's fake news, the regime put it out there and it didn't actually happen, or it's real and they were trying to promote them. It was a trick to try to sell them as leaders because, like, oh look, they're against Islamic Republic, so maybe the Iranian people will see them as potentially some last effort to make them seem worthy of leading of something to go away from Khamenei. Or maybe they were actually trying to take advantage of the chaos right now to actually gain power. We're trying to like maybe convince some people from the IRGC to betray Khamenei and come under the leadership of Rouhani, for example, and that's the reason they arrested them. So it could be any of these three options, and I guess we would not know until the dust settles. So, but yeah, it could be. I know there are many hardliners who hate Rouhani and Zarif more than they hate the Jews and more than they hate Pahlavi. So I know a lot of the hardliners would love to. I mean, I know because I listen to them all the time. There are many people within the hardliners that wish that they say that The only thing that they're upset about is that the day they will execute Rouhani, they only get to execute him once. And they're sad about that, like, because this is somebody who should be executed 100 times. That's what many hardliners say in Iran. So I know there's a lot of hate against them. So they might actually have arrested him because they were done with his anti-Khamenei rhetoric.
Okay, so given all of that, follow-up question: can you see any scenario, any at all, where the Islamic Republic stays in power?
No.
That's good.
No.
That's the best news I've heard all year.
Yeah.
Dajjal? Dajjal.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, guys? I was going to ask you, Armin, what do you think now in terms of where we are now with the ships coming to the Gulf? Was a couple days away before they'll be there, 1 to 2 days? Can you answer that?
So the USS Abraham Lincoln airstrike carrier and everything that is coming with it, basically it's a fleet. There were different estimates for when they're going to be arriving to the Oman Sea, which is right next to the Persian Gulf. By the way, whenever people say the Gulf, we Iranians, we kind of get angry a little bit because we're very insistent on calling it the Persian Gulf. It's because because Arab countries around the Persian Gulf were trying to rename it to the Arab Gulf. That's why we never call it the Gulf. We always call it the Persian Gulf. So it was supposed to be arriving. I heard estimates of 5, 7, and 10 days. So if it was 5 days, I think it's supposed to arrive on Sunday, but I'm not sure. There are different estimates for that. But it's not just that. There's also the George W. Bush aircraft carrier that is in the Mediterranean Sea. So when eventually, if the attack on the Islamic Republic starts to support the revolution that is happening right now in Iran, but I give the full context because when we cut these parts out, I want people to know what we're talking about. Right? That's why if I'm saying things that are obvious, it's because I'm trying to provide full context for the edited video that comes out. Right. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so basically, it seemed like they want to have the Islamic Republic surrounded from, from the Persian Gulf on the south, from the Mediterranean Sea, from northwest, and also Israel has access to Iranian airspace because the Syrian airspace is accessible to Israel because Assad has fallen and Iraq doesn't even have much of an air defense. So that airspace is open to Israel as well. So they have it completely surrounded. But they need that to arrive before they can do anything because, first of all, Qatar doesn't allow the Al Hudaid airbase to be used by Americans but the airbase in Qatar because they don't want that airspace to be used. They don't want to allow that airspace to be used for attacking Qatari neighbors because they're worried about the retaliation by the Islamic Republic and they don't want to pay the price for that. And also, I've heard, I don't know if this is true, that Saudi Arabia is also not allowing its airspace to be used in the attack, which limits the areas that the Americans and the Israelis could fly over to get to the Islamic Republic. I don't know if that's true or if they're playing mind games, but that also explains why they might be waiting for the aircraft carriers to arrive before they do anything because their options have been limited because maybe Saudi Arabia and Qatar don't want to be involved in this. But yeah, when it comes to the time, I don't know exactly when. I'm seeing different estimates, but it could be any time from right now to tomorrow or to a few days from now.
Yes. But you're feeling pretty good about it as it stands?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I am. It seems like the signs are going in the right direction. So there's that.
And of course, you have the hacking of Iranian media. And put
not the Iranian, the Islamic Republic state media.
Yeah, the Islamic Republic, absolutely. You got it. Gulf, Islamic Republic, got it.
So, yeah, don't worry for getting these wrong. These are just, as an Iranian, I have to insist on these. It's okay if you guys don't get them right all the time. It's okay. I just have to correct it every time. Yeah. Okay.
It matters. People need to know the difference. They need to know that the government isn't the same as the people because the people hate the fucking government.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Harris?
Oh, hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I actually had a couple of comments. Armin, this is more for you. Do you think that the Islamic Republic has more staying power than what we in the West here are assuming? And it's not because of catastrophe, right? It's more because it's a regime that gets more strengthened by catastrophe, similar to what Hamas was doing, right? The question is not how do you like pressure the economy or how do you threaten the regime. Is the real question is how do you break the machinery that makes repression possible for such a long period of time and makes it sustainable.
Yeah, so the difference between the Islamic Republic and Hamas and these other groups are like the Taliban, for example, has proven to be a lot more resilient. Even if you have, Hamas has been weakened to a huge degree, and also the Taliban, but the Taliban also but Hamas might have a comeback. Taliban did have a comeback. The difference between those places and Iran is that the population there, a huge portion of them, I agree, are in line with that ideology, right? We don't have that in Iran. So the reason why the staying power of the Islamic Republic is lower is because they're ruling over people that don't reflect their ideology. And that's why the people there are their greatest weakness. If once you manage to, there is no comeback. So they are resilient. They have resisted for 47 years. But the difference is that once you defeat them, there is no coming back. Hamas could have a comeback. Taliban has a comeback. Even Hezbollah could have a comeback because there are segments in Lebanon. The Shia sectors in Lebanon really consider Hezbollah to be their main defender against like Sunnis, right? So even no matter how many times you take them out, because of the support they have on the ground, they might be coming back on. And that's why they might have a lot harder to get rid of. But the Islamic Republic is not at all a reflection of their population on the ground. And that's why once you get rid of them, they're done.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted, and that's a great answer, because if you can force your opponents to choose between survival and the destruction of your country, in the Islamic Republic's case, that effectively means you can hold the country hostage, right? So
say that again, but last point, because I see Goldie is waiting. Last point, yeah, go on.
So to Hassan's point, if you were to go after the regime's apparatus, what is that apparatus? That's people that have passports, that are bank accounts. They have families outside of Iran. They're living in Canada. They're living in Dubai, right? So then those people are targetable. Those assets are now essentially radioactive.
Yep.
So that's one way I think that we can probably hit pretty hard.
Let me tell you, if you take out some of the key leaders and some of the key bases of IRGC and the political leaders and the commanding officers of in IRGC, it's over. Here's the thing. I think if you take out Khamenei and Ghalibaf, Ejei, Pezeshkian, and Radan, if you take those out, it's over.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for that answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are great. By the way, Harris, I really appreciate that. You ask really good questions and you have a lot of good information that makes your questions on a higher level. So thank you.